Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
We turn to kindle our Shabbat lights. I hope that you will join us so that all of our Shabbat lights glow in the beauty of glow together. And it is a pleasure for me to ask Andy Wasserman, I gotta find her on the screen so we can unmute her, to help us kindle our Shabbat lights. And I think between the three of us, whoever finds her first will unmute her.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, through our lives, give light to all who behold us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations who have kindled these lights, so may we be inspired to kindle these lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot and teaches us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. The heaven and earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God stopped on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on that day God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. I'd like to ask Matt Lehman to offer some words of welcome and Shabbat Shalom-iness. I made that up.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you have had a good week. It's great to see so many of you again this evening. Special thanks to Andy Wasserman for leading us in the prayers this evening, as well as to Rabbi Van and our music director, Deb Rogers, for their help in leading our services this evening. Just a few brief announcements. Registration for our tent continues to go on. I know a number of folks have called and inquired about the ability for some classes to be offered virtually as well as in person. And all of the courses will be offered virtually, as well as a very, very limited number of in-person opportunities. And we continue to monitor guidance to make appropriate decisions. Again, you can register on the website or by calling the office. Additionally, you should have again received about a month ago your letter for open doors. We continue to receive many commitments in, which we very much appreciate. However, please make every effort to get it in as we approach the high holidays. And really that's the last piece. Rabbi Van, Deb Rogers, Rabbi Shauna, Brett, JB, and the whole staff is working tirelessly to prepare what will be an amazing high holiday experience. Just some really, really engaging experiences that you can look forward to. Much more information will be coming via email in the coming weeks as we get ready to kick off this month-long experience that, again, I think will be unforgettable. So I do want to say thanks to the entire team at Suburban Temple-Kol for their work. It really has been nothing short of astounding, and I can't wait to experience what we will have in just a few short weeks. So hope everyone has a great week. Stay healthy. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Matt. Shabbat Shalom. As I move into our screen share, we also move deeper into our service. And whoa, hello, my slide deck is having a mind of its own. So I found an old favorite book this week when I was at Temple, and it's a woman named Debbie Perlman, who died well before her time, became what she would call a contemporary psalmist, and she wrote psalms, and so that's why this psalm is called 42. And I had forgotten about this book for quite some time, and so I want to share with you her Psalm 42 called Steadiness. I have adapted it a little bit because it was quite long. Balance our days, beloved friend, when we careen without plan from task to task, from thought to thought, seeking right paths. So many days we do not pause, rushing on we lose our focus, forgetting the center of our being is contained within your hand. Like erratic winds we swirl about, rustling all directions, turning dust to wraiths across this dry plain of responsibilities. Pull around us then your strong arm, halt our frantic motion, water this arid ground with living water, irrigate our thirsty souls. Place our actions before us, a rediscovered path to you. Balance our days with your regard, fill our days with holiness. As we ask God to fill our days with holiness, we turn to the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, and we rise in body or in spirit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha uv'lachtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
I think about Michamocha and what it means for the Israelites to have crossed the Red Sea. I think about, was it muddy? Was it dry? What was that walk like? And what did it feel to taste freedom for the first few moments? And I think about our current experiences where we are finding both new ways to do things which are exciting, perhaps, and interesting, and all of those reconsiderations and compromises and losses. And I think both were the experiences of the Israelites. Leaving is always difficult, even if it's just something you've been waiting for. We sing Michamocha.
Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef peleh, nora tehilot, osef Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai.
It's still very much summer, and yet the evenings are getting a little bit shorter. I say that because with a deep breath, because I don't want them to. And so Hashkivenu becomes more and more our evening lullaby. It's our song of protection, our song of asking God to provide for each of us a shelter of peace, a sukkot shalom. Whether that Sukkot Shalom be physical or spiritual, we ask for protection as we sing together.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Behamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Shamru is our song, our celebration of Shabbat, where we get to say, yay, it's Shabbat. And that is really awesome. We have noticed, Deb and I, that when we sing Vishamru, there are a couple people, more than a couple, who are dancing. And so you notice that there's this thing called Spotlight, where you can see Deb or me or someone quite large on the screen. If we choose to spotlight you, you may see where it says unmute in the middle of your screen. Please do not unmute. Just ignore that and enjoy being the center of attention for a few moments. We have loved watching you pray, watching you enjoy. And so we might choose to let everyone see what we have loved and what has meant so much to us.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Israel, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Celebrating Shabbat is also part of our sacred space and sacred time together as we move into our Amidah, our Tefillah, where we remember to give thanks for those who have come before us, for God, and for this sacred day. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We have many things for which we can be grateful, many blessings in our lives. As we sing Shalom Rav, I invite you to use the chat, to share in the chat something beautiful that happened to you this week. Something, it could be the smallest thing that you keep finding your brain turning back to. It could be something that is large, something you're really grateful for. Even in our challenging times, there are so many things that are beautiful in our lives.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech hador, lechol hashalom. Tasim leolam, Tasim leolam.
Even as we have so much to be grateful for, we know that there are so many who are struggling. Shalom Rav. Shalom means peace, it means hello, it means goodbye. It also is a word for wholeness. There are so many who are not whole. And so we turn to the Mishaberach, we turn to our prayer for healing. And we think of those who are in need of healing, whether it be a healing of our physical body or a healing of our spirit, a mental healing, an emotional healing. And we offer a prayer for them. And we lift them up in our chat for those who are struggling. Hopefully, if you're going to use specific names with permission, please share them, lift them up that with our community, that they may know a measure of peace and connection. We sing together.
Source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer and reflection. So it occurred to me that given our present circumstances, we haven't been reading from the Torah. So I wanted to do a little very brief lesson in Torah study, not reading from the Torah, but understanding how we go about what we would call, if we were in a critical biblical studies text, exegesis. So that's trying to understand what the Torah is teaching us and how we get there from this week's Torah portion. And we're even going to see, if we have time, come up with a moral lesson from it. So you will also need to possibly chat, because I might need some help from you, or I might need to unmute you. So the first verse of this week's Torah portion, the Torah portion is called Ekev, which is why you see this really crazy little red line there. I actually drew that in, and this is how they've translated it. So, V'haya Ekev tishma'un et hamishpatim ha'ela u'shmartem va'asitem otam v'shamar Adonai Elohecha lecha et habrit ve'et ha'chesed asher nishba la'avotecha. And here they've translated it, and if you hearken to these rules and observe them carefully, Adonai your God will maintain faithfully for you the covenant that God made on oath with your forefathers. So what we're going to focus on literally is one word. We don't always get to do this, but this one word is really interesting to unpack. And so what we're going to look at is this word Ekev. And obviously it's Hebrew, right? So I pulled this out of an online Hebrew dictionary, and it is typically translated as consequence. Consequence, gain, or reward, a consequence, or because, or if, right? So what do we do with that? So I want to introduce you to something called pardes. P-R-D-E-S, and if you wanted to say it, you would put little vowels in there, because there are no vowels, and it would be pardes. Pardes, the word pardes actually means an orchard, an apple orchard. So what is pardes? Pardes is a methodology for going deeper and deeper and deeper into the text, for an exegetical methodology for how do we get where we get with text. How do I try to glean meaning from Torah every week and try to get a sermon? Let's think it's Leviticus, right? We're in Deuteronomy now. How am I going to get a sermon out of the priests making sacrifices every week? So it's a step way of going deeper and deeper and deeper into the text. So the first step, shall we say, is the pshat, the simple. What is the text trying to say? What does it mean? Do we understand it? If you've taken critical literature, this is what we're trying, what in the world does it mean, right? And so if you go back to this is the pshat, right? Do we understand it? Do we get where it's going? That's the pshat. So here's the translation. And if you hearken, if you listen to these words, okay, so now we want to go a little bit deeper. Is there a hint or an allusion or something that we can pull out of this verse or out of this narrative? That's the remez. Remez is a hint, or you can also translate it as a hint or an allusion of this. Well, there's a really fun hint in this text. Well, fun because I'm a geeky rabbi. So, fun in this text. The word Ekev, if you know the word Yaakov, they're the same root. Yaakov is Jacob. They're the same root. And what is that root? It's a heel, like the heel of your foot. So, Dorothea, when you were talking about your Birkenstocks, inside me was like, oh my gosh, I wish we were having this conversation in 25 minutes because it's perfect for the sermon, right? It's the heel of your foot. So for some reason, the word Ekev is translated here as if or consequence. but it's also the same cousin word for our heel. They're related to each other. I don't know how that came to be. I have no idea, but they're related to each other. So there's this hint of something that starts to spark ideas of, could this mean something else? Could we have a play or a word play or an idea or a lesson just from one verse that starts to play in your brain? Let's go back to the verse for a second. And if you hearken to these rules, or if you listening to these rules that are on the heel of, changes it, doesn't it? Becomes a different meaning in the verse. All of a sudden, you have a hint or an allusion of a totally different lesson. So this is where drash, a metaphor, a comparison, an illustration, this is where all those rabbis from thousands of years ago got their crazy stories. From these hints and understanding the simple pshat. So, based on this ekev, a tanhuma is a compendium of midrashim, a compendium of stories. So the tanhuma on our verse writes that the word ekev is an allusion to the kind of commandments that people ignore, people step on with their heel because they consider them as inconsequential. And then it writes, this is purely homiletical. So they've made a connection, going back to the verse. If you hearken to these rules, so why use this word ekev at all? If you hearken to, because the heel, all of the commandments are so important, even the ones you might want to step on. So it goes deeper and deeper. So you can take all of this and go deeper and deeper. So I have what I took from this idea as my lesson from this verse, and it's very simple. You are free to make whatever choice you want, but not free from the consequences of that choice. How did I get there? How did I get there? From one word, from ekev, from the heel of something. I'm going to stop the share for a moment. Is there anybody that wants to like wave to me and see if they can get it really quick?
You could, as you were hinting earlier, say that some are really important and you're going to choose to only observe the important ones, but that would be an act of self-definition. And whether self-definition, self-definition runs the hazard that you become your own person rather than following all these commandments. So there is a real hazard to self-definition here.
It's an arrogance.
There's a consequence to doing this all on your own.
Yeah, do you separate yourself from the community?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to mute you again, okay? So, but it's not personal. Anyone else want to try? I know it's a little daunting on Zoom. Every time we take a step, we put our foot down, we make an affirmative choice. But those choices are consequences. Those choices make an impact. And so we're not free from our heel touching everything that we do. And when we listen to those choices, when we hearken to those choices, we're not free from those consequences. That's how I got there. So it may be a little bit far from the literal meaning of the text, but it's still connected to the text. It's still connected to the text. And we still are all impacting one another. And that's really an important thing. And it all comes from learning and connecting. So 2 things happened tonight. 1, we learned a beautiful lesson about this amazing Torah portion. And 2, now everyone can open a text and say, oh my gosh, this verse is so boring. And if you dig deeper, no verse in Torah is boring. Whenever we put our heels down, we make choices. We're not free from those consequences. Many of the choices we make really make a beautiful change in the world. Shabbat Shalom.
If I don't stand up for myself, who will stand for me? If I don't know me, who's gonna show me? And if I don't stand up for another, who is my brother? How can I hold my head up high? Imenani li mili, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם אין אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי. And you know that I've got your back if trouble should find you. I will remind you that I am behind you. And would you please watch out for me if I go astray now? Help make it okay now. Show me the way. Imenani li mili, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם אין אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי. If not now, when? This chance might never come again. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. La, 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 la. 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 אם אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם אין אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו ומתי, אם לא עכשיו ומתי.
Deb, thank you for that. I love that piece. Can you remind me who the composer is?
Yeah, that's Beth Schaefer.
Beth Schaefer. And I put in the chat the translation of the Hebrew, which is actually a really well-known quote by most of us. Rabbi Hillel, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? And if I am for myself, then who am I? And if not now, when? And we will return to our share to, hopefully I have the right one. Now I have too many windows open. To complete our service with Aleinu, please rise in body or in spirit. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth. whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And we turn now to our time of remembering. First, our memorial meditation from poet Margaret Mead. Remember me. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated, but to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest and at its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you will always think of me, I will never be gone. On this Shabbat, we remember the yahrzeits of Irma Blank, Seligman Blank, Moise C. Blum, Marjorie Wolfe Brummel, Murray I. Cooper, Susan G. Crystal, Saul Edgar Meyer Green, Francis Heimel, Bill Hickman, Merle W. Kahn, Rosa Loeb, Arnold M. Mitchell, MD, Sidney H. Moss, Bertha G. Newman, Dr. William Henry Rosewater, Edwin J. Rosewater, Helen Savrin, David Sternberger, Ruby Traub, Marguerite Bachrach Wurzberger. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Almei Almaya, Yitbarach v'yitbarach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalal v'yithalel Shmei Dekudasha Barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, jushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Imru, Amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen.
Amen.
Deb, what are we gonna sing out with?
I thought we should sing Adon Olam together. This is the call and response, so please join in.
But we're not unmuting.
Yes, well, you know. Here we go. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem-Kol, Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'Chefzo-Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot Hakol, Levado Yimloch Nora, Adon Olam, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Tifara Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem-Kol, יציר נברא, לעת נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה אדון עולם, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל, יציר נברא, לעת נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה אדון עולם, הוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל, יציר נברא, לעת נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. One more. בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת תישן ואירה אדון עולם, ואם רוחי גווייתי, ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל, יציר נברא, לעת נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May the light of God's presence shine upon all of us, and may God be gracious to us.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך, וישם לך שלום, וישם לך שלום.
May God lift up each one of us, and may God bring us shalom, peace, and wholeness. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Well, I went out on a limb today and I baked my own challah.
Oh my goodness, look at that. That's beautiful.
Biggin.
It's big.